you're interested in video games to a certain degree, you've likely heard that Sonic the Hedgehog for the PS3 and Xbox 360 is a bad game. If you're a fan of the series, you're probably sick and tired of hearing about how Sonic has had a rocky history in 3D, or some nonsense like that. But despite all that criticism, the game has some good elements to it. There's fun to be had, and there's certainly stuff to appreciate it. Shadow the Hedgehog is really fun to play as. I think Sonic Team making his moveset different from Sonic's was a good idea. In Adventure 2, Sonic and Shadow control almost identically. In Heroes, they do control identically. While I love both of those games, I sometimes would like a little variety here. I think Sonic Team did a good job of making Shadow different without changing too much. His homing attack is so much fun. So Sonic sees the robot and he's like, pow, pow, pow. Shadow sees the robot and he's like, it makes Shadow feel very powerful. Shadow can still go fast and do the light speed dash and the rail grind and all that, but Shadow feels more refined in a way I don't know how to describe. I think a good handful of people would consider this an upgrade over his controlling heroes. I also like how Shadow's game doesn't have mock speed sections. This change helps to further differentiate Shadow's levels from Sonic's levels. I think his character is really strong in the story too. In previous games, Shadow didn't know what his purpose in life was, but now he firmly supports his belief. It's good character development for a hero who was a villain only 5 years previous.
So you say, it's futile. The world will betray you. Why fight at all? Why risk your life for those who will persecute you later? If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
A lot of people say this holds true for any of the Sonic games, but Sonic Next Gen especially has an amazing soundtrack. A ton of stage music in this game is dope. Wave Ocean is good, but Tropical Jungle, great. White Acropolis, awesome. Dusty Desert, outstanding. Crisis City, just amazing. Everything sounds very professional and high quality. A lot of them are earworms too. Flame Core's music reminds me of Red Mountain from Sonic Adventure, which makes sense because they are very similar level themes. Flame Core sounds a bit like a more distorted take on Red Mountain with its wailing guitar. Radical Train's theme is really groovy with its bouncy guitar and small dose of saxophone. And Aquatic Bass has a theme with this very watery piano theme mixed with electronic noises scattered throughout. The songs are just really fun to listen to on their own. If Sega liked this game enough to print a double vinyl record with a variety of stage themes on it, I would totally buy it. That's all without talking about the greatest song in the whole game, Dreams of an Absolution. This song is legendary. It sounds like that really synthy part in C 2.0, and I love C 2.0. Every song in this game is legendary.
The rainbow. I miss them every night. I miss them by my side. Catch my tears when I cry.
A lot of levels in this game, especially in Sonic's story, have some pretty good design. There's always alternate routes to take if you're decent at the game. My favorite alternate routes are in the first part of Kingdom Valley. This part of the level is chock full of different paths, rainbow rings, lightspeed dash rings, and wall runs. Trying to figure out the best way to finish the level is a fun challenge. Just about every level has at least a few skips and branching paths. Even the mock speed sections have multiple routes sometimes. There are optimal routes designed for people who have mastered the level, but the player is usually made aware of them going through it for the first time. This shows the player what they can do to rank higher and incentivizes them to play through the stage again later. But a few, such as this alternate route in Dusty Desert, is not as clear to the first-time players. This incentivizes players to explore to find more alternate routes to improve their scores. There are a few control improvements over Heroes that help make each stage more enjoyable for the player. For example, you can homing attack the rails. This simple ability addresses a problem many had with Adventure 2 and Heroes, and it cuts down on a lot of frustration. The levels feel like they flow together nicely because of these design elements. Just watch someone online speed through Crisis City or Flame Court. I really enjoy going through Radical Train as quickly as possible with its balancing platforms and airport sidewalks. Zooming through Aquatic Base feels really fun as well. The combat in this stage is laid out very well, I feel. If I were good at this game, I could use some of these rainbow rings to advance through the level faster. The levels are just good.
Nice! I don't believe it!
The cutscenes in Sonic Next Gen are beautiful. This is hard to argue for or against because it ultimately is purely a subjective thing, but the characters look great. I love their designs and how they look in this unique world. Everyone looks so detailed. I've heard people say that the characters move like puppets, and maybe that's true. Either way, the way these characters look and move in these cutscenes is unlike anything I've seen before. Everything has major Uncanny Valley vibes, which I personally love. I like the way it sounds too. Some scenes are just quiet. It's very interesting to see cutscenes without music. And who can forget that iconic scene where Shadow totally beats Silver?
Chaos Control!
I love this game so much. In Sonic the Hedgehog, there are only 3 main stories, but 9 playable characters. This is integrated in a really interesting way. Sometimes the side characters get their own levels, and sometimes they just take part in a level. For example, Tails helps Sonic in Wave Ocean, and then he has his own Wave Ocean level. Then Knuckles helps out a bit in Flame Core. Shadow sees help from Rouge and Omega, and Silver gets some assistance from Blaze and Amy. This helps keep the game fresh in a really cool way, at least in my opinion. It helps add variety to keep each story more fresh, and the fans of these different characters get to play as them at least for a little bit. I really appreciate how the game can recognize these characters without forcing us into a whole storyline for them like in Adventure 1. But it also doesn't mean this full cast can sit around and do nothing either. It hits the perfect mark for me.
What did you think of my beautiful technique?
I've had a good amount of fun with this goofy Hedgehog game. Sonic Next Gen is not a perfect product, but it's not the dumpster fire everyone claims it is. Of course, if you don't like it, that's perfectly fine. I guess I can't blame you. I just feel there's more to this game than 06 bad. It has its frustrations, but Sonic Next Gen is a game I could see myself revisiting for years to come.
Here we